AI is evolving fast. Are you ready? Meet AI at FlytBase, your weekly hub to learn, upskill, and stay ahead in AI world. Let's dive into today's session.
So hello everyone, welcome back to another AI in Action session. I know most of you guys are eager to jump straight into the main session, and we'll get there in just a bit, but bear with me for a couple of more minutes where I quickly share some of the AI updates from the past week. And once that's done, I'll hand it over to Baishali to kick things off with the session you all are here for. Okay, so the first news is from the Canva itself. So Canva has just launched something called as Canva Code 2.0, and basically it's another AI generating website tool. And but they promise that it doesn't look like all other AI generating website, same layout, not same fonts or not same generic vibe. So instead of just a prompting box, you can just add a real interactive canvas. So what you can do, you can import HTML from anywhere, drag and drop, edit, publish straight to your own domain with SSO support, which is again a great feature. And it's designed to help you create sites that actually feel like yours. So it's live for every Canva user, so you can give it a try. Now, the second news is from the Rave. So they have dropped a cool new feature called as a reframe. So what it does, it lets you expand your image outward or zoom in closer on the details without changing a aspect ratio, however you want. So they also have a reshoot feature, which is for the dramatic zoom. So they offer up to 10x zoom, which is a great thing. And relayout to quickly switch between vertical to horizontal to square or wide frames without losing important part as well. It is super useful for adapting visuals to different format without starting from the scratch. So you can give it a try as well. Now the third news is from the Claude. So the big update for the Claude user. So now Claude artifacts can now call their own MCP connector. What it means? It means that you can build dashboard and app inside artifacts that fetch live data and take action tailored to each viewers. Now, the artifact uses the viewer's own MCP connection, so the creator don't have to keep rerunning the things, and privacy stays intact because people only see data that have access to it. It's now available for the Pro and the Max team users, and not publicly for the enterprise, but it will soon come. So you can go and give it a try as well. Now, the last but not the least, so SpaceX have open sourced their Grok build. So they have made a two solid move today. First, they have open sourced the Grok build, including the CLI. So anyone can help and make harness more reliable and robust. And on top of that, they have reset the usage limit as well. So with the zero data retention, by default, all previous retained coding data is being deleted and you can run it fully local with your own interference. So, which is a great step for the developer itself. So that was it for the news part. Now I'll hand it over to Baishali. So hi Baishali, how are you?
Hello. Thanks, Aaron. I'm good. I think few very interesting features have come in, but
Yes.
how many of you are still using chat-based interfaces today? I think, yeah, I'll just move ahead. What I meant is how many of you have moved to OpenClaw or Hermes kind of a setup already? And are you finding that to be a completely different way of operating with AI? Because like over the last couple of weeks, most of the teams completely stopped using any of those Claude interfaces, because at the end of the day, Hermes also uses our Claude engine, but then the interface is now completely on Slack with a co-pilot and you working together on every little aspect that you have. So building the second brain has been my most, fulfilling part. and figuring out how can I share whatever I'm doing and whatever I'm working to this machine and to the system with those minutest of nuances in which we usually as humans work has been mind-boggling. But nonetheless, I wanted to share with you a little about how we've been trying to rethink our inbound agent and building a smart SDR. When AI recently launched a couple of years ago, and last year, a lot of the discussions had moved to having AI-based SDRs, which would start going on calls, take interviews in terms of an AI talking to you and taking the first level of discoveries. However, we realized that there are certain places where relationships are important, but there are certain things that you can definitely get done a lot better with AI, and that's where we've been trying to focus on. So I'll share a little bit about what we've been trying to do. So I'll just quickly try to share with you how FlytBase's GTM works, because it is going to be relevant or important for this rundown. So we primarily work with customers across the globe, by which I mean is that we get inbounds because we work in a very niche technology. So we do not have a particular designated geography that we are focused on. Like, it's not like 3 or 4 geographies. We have people or leads coming in from 70 plus, 80 plus geographies, as small as Lithuania and Estonia, etc. So inbounds are our main bread and butter. We're not so much focused on outbound. We've recently started outbound activities, but for the last few years or the number of years that we are in existence, inbounds is the way which we bring in our leads, and therefore that is a very important churn and lead generation mechanism for us. So we've tried to, over time, we've tried to simplify a lot of things that we have on our website. We are primarily very sales led. It is not a PLG based motion or a product led motion. So it's like, come on a call, we'll understand more about you, we will share, because it's again a very niche technology. Not everyone when tomorrow start and start using and flying drones for industrial purposes. I'm of course not talking about the photography and cinematography aspects, but when you want to use it for commercial industrial purposes, there are a lot of things that come into play: regulations, hardware, XYZ. So we really have a very heavy sales-led motion. And for that, we have a simple form on our website, which is primarily a couple of forms: a contact us form, which is like get a demo, book a demo, or reach out to us if you want to know more about it. Then we have, of course, pricing form. A pricing page has a slightly more nuanced and more information heavy form, which again we are trying to fix. And we have certain gated content, which is our resource forms, where we get very minimal information. Of course, in marketing, you'll realize that gated content are not so important. They are primarily going to some kind of nurture engine, but book a demo and pricing are the ones who are very high intent, and therefore you should try to set up a call with them. So how we have tried to figure this entire system is, out of these 4 forms or couple of forms that we get in, we wanted to be, our A's are right now we are at a space where we have now started getting a huge number of inbounds, which currently our team is unable to cater to, and they're just overwhelmed with a lot of and we have very lean teams in FlytBase. The sales team is very lean. Like, we have 1 person per geography, by per geography and per region. So there's somebody who's working for North and South Americas, 1 person for Europe, 1 person for rest of the world. So we are trying to enable them as much as we can with just sending across very, very highly qualified leads to them, because of course you cannot be prioritizing everybody at the same time, and few ones the marketing team itself are trying to do itself. Of course, it depends on the journey you are. Some of you must have much more advanced systems, but this is where we stand in FlytBase, and wanted to share how we are trying to do. So one thing that we've been working with is like a lot in Hermes, trying to build these sub agents that create a series of items that help you nurture and create more relevant information for discovery. So internally in FlytBase, for sales, we have this discovery mechanism called Scuba, which is like, what is the scale, what is the clarity, what is the urgency of the customer, what is the budget, and is there some authority. And now with the help of AI, we thought that we are in a good position to be able to understand and analyze these information by leveraging AI. So when an AE goes on a discovery call, they first of all only go on a discovery call when it's very highly qualified, and then when there are very good intent signals. And when they go on a call, they have like a good amount of information to back it up. So they are not spending time in doing these researches. And at the same time, they can only just go and confirm and correct. A few information, of course, are not publicly available, but we are trying to figure out as much as we can. So we build very elaborative AI agent mechanism to help do so. So as soon as a lead comes in, this is how our pipeline gets triggered. And these are the series of agents that we've built. So first of all, when it comes in, there's a gatekeeper kind of agent, which just tries to understand more about the lead and figures out whether it's a real lead or a junk lead. By real and junk, I mean, in our inbound forms, we also get a lot of student inquiries. Hiring people want to apply for jobs, so they apply. We do not get, like, some of them just want to fish more information or try to get some pitch something to us. Some software companies are trying to pitch. So we do get a lot of junk leads. So of course they do not demand the time of an AE. So they are automatically junk, which gets eliminated. One other thing is we do not operate in India because of the drone policies in India, and because of this stage we are in as an organization. So that also gets filtered as junk because they are, as geography, we do not operate. We do not deploy our services in India. So few things that in the first gatekeepers, the only role. So one thing when we were building AI agents, that the more you read and learn about it, you will hear that give agents very specific tasks so that you're not creating very long and you're not giving a lot of things to a single agent. Keep the task of an agent microscopic so that it does a good job every time. So whenever you try to overload an agent with a lot of activities, it kind of hallucinates. And there are a lot of best practices in terms of training your you'll see Claude has skills best practices, or like when you're creating sub agents or skills, what are the best practices to do so. Even Hermes has its set of best practices. So always try to use those documents as reference to when you create it. And the more you create agents, I'm sure a lot of people are already doing so. This is something that you'll figure out. So that was the first agent, the gatekeeper. And then once it understands, okay, this is a real one, we have a series of sub agents that are then deployed. So if it is like a yes, it's a real, it first tries to enrich that whether this already exists in our CRM. So all our CRMs, our partner intelligent dashboards, they're all built by ourselves, again with AI, and now we have MCPs for it. So the agent automatically goes, understands from our CRM agents, from our partner repository agents, whether this is something that's already existing, an existing account. It tries to match that. And then if it is there, it then tries to figure out, okay, we have two kinds of major personas that we are working with. One is these enterprise clients that actually use our solution and deploy it on their own sites. And then we have a set of partner personas. Our GTM is quite varied because at FlytBase, because we have GTMs for multiple geographies, we cannot have salesperson ourselves. So we have a huge channel partner or a partner network. Again, some of them are tech partners, which are integration partners. Some of them are deployment or delivery partners, channel partners. So we have a good segregation, and again, around 100 plus partners in different geographies. So when we get leads, we get across these two widely different personas. And so it tries to figure out, okay, is it a buyer or is it a seller? Is it going to resell our services, or is it going to be a buyer primarily? And because of that, the kind of qualification and the discovery or that we do changes. So a buyer persona, we have a separate set of things that we want to figure out, and for the seller persona, we have a separate thing of things to figure out. One more thing we also get quite frequently, can you fly drone indoors? So that automatically gets eliminated here. And then we have a complete set of orchestrators that work around figuring those 5 things that I discussed, the scuba metrics. So what is the scale? What is the clarity? Are they already deploying drones and dogs today? What is the urgency? What is the budget and authority? And then after that, once it has figured that out, there are 2 things. One, it tries to, if it doesn't have enough information, we set an automation that it will automatically go to the Gmail and draft a few questions to those leads that, hey, I don't have clarity. Can you please help me answer these questions? And then based on that, we can reroute it to that particular AE to go ahead and take a call. At the same time, it also drafts a message. So we already have an automation on our internal Slack that as soon as a lead comes in on the website, it also reflects on the Slack, because Slack is a more frequent channel that everybody constantly looks at. And it also drops a message on the Slack saying that, hey, so I'll share that with you. So for example, this is how typically our leads come in. Beam from our team set this up. So as soon as I have tried to anonymize it as much as I could, because of course I can't share. So for example, this is just an example of my Hermes Copilot. I just tried to create something. So this is a lead example that comes in with some information, some message, and then the agent then drops a response saying, hey, this is what I've learned in terms of the scale is, clarity is this, urgency. One thing that we realized is before this, a lot of times we used to do lead scoring which are deterministic in nature, like, hey, give some points to everything. But with AI, we realized that it is not required, because you can get more contextual information. There is no need to have set up a deterministic system. So the deterministic system was meant for the pre-AI world, but now that is not required. So we try to figure out, I mean, of course, a lot of this data will not make sense because they are kind of not real data, but so we try to understand the scale from the number of sites that are there, number of public information available. Okay, so this is how many sites that these companies own. And if you have a rough radius of one dock can be a part of this much covers this much square kilometer, so it can duplicate. So yeah, that is how we create this entire system. And then we have a full dossier which is attached for any AE to go ahead and read more detailed information. And then there's a recommendation that, hey, this is how you should book a call. Another interesting thing is that if we figure out, okay, hey, this lead right now, it's not the right time for FlytBase to work on, but probably one of our partners in the network should work on this. So automatically there are 3 buttons. So we have, like in say Latam, we have 3 partners. So all those partners get listed in this. And then when you click on that particular partner link, from the Slack itself, a draft message comes on with that partner's email ID, with a base email ID saying that, hey, this is an inquiry that we've gotten from the unit. We would like you to take it forward, because and then the partner can directly work on it. So this is some system that we built because we have very limited bandwidth and we wanted to create a very efficient system so that not just our AEs as well as our partners, the regional A's can also like work on these leads. And if you have a channel partnership GTM, you know how much these partners love lead introduction, especially in their geographies. So yep, this is a little bit about the system. And when I talk about the lead dossiers, again, this is anonymized. So it looks something like this. It has a split and it has a very detailed dossier in terms of what is the size of the tier, which vertical are they in, what is the detail, are they using drones today, dogs today. This can be customized based on what are the competitor flags, have you found any information, have you found anything that they integrate with, what are the sources on which you're figuring out scale or clarity, urgency, budget. Again, what is the authority, what is the sign, where does our inbound contact sits, and who is the main signing authority, any information that it tries to fetch. So, and then it will suggest the next action item. These are all automated, but then this gives a kind of full insight. So whenever an AE can go on a call, it takes this along with them. Yep, this is a little bit about it. Happy to understand more, and I'll share more details when, like, based on the questions.
Tanmay asked, hi ma'am, is this process completely automated?
Yeah, it is completely automated to an extent. We are still, so this we are trying to build a complete MCP system for it, which will then help us add to our nurture pipeline. So if there are people going into the nurture pipeline, so Vishnu from my team is also here. He's also working on that entire nurture pipeline on how the leads that are not so qualified will then go, what kind of content to send. So we're trying to create a complete, this part is completely automated so far. Yes.
Viraj will talk about the hackathon process later part of the session, surely. Okay, so for the lead enrichment, are you mainly using external APIs like LinkedIn company databases, or is the agent doing web research automatically?
So right now we are using web research completely, but we are thinking whether we would want to use so we have been testing with Clay and Apollo to do those enrichment, but so far even Clay and Apollo tools, they can get you information that works really well for outbound when you don't have critical information in terms of what is their email, which company are they in, what is their LinkedIn profile. So, but for me, that's not the point. I already have a lot of information in the inbound questionnaire itself. So some basic information that I absolutely need, I get it done. And see, the thing is, when people have intent, when they want to use, they don't shy away from filling more information if they have the right intent that, hey, and that's what you're looking for, right? So what I need information is how many drones have they deployed today? How many dogs have they deployed today? What is the vertical they are going to work on? How big is the company? Few basic firmographics information, you can get it from Clay, but something around very specific about competitors. Now you can set up these agents as well, but I feel web research has been doing a good job for me. We are still trying to see, and maybe Bhim can comment more whether that is falling short, and a tool like Clay is going to be more relevant. But I think for so far, we've seen good work in terms of we getting the information that we need.
Gaurav has asked which LLMs are acting as a primary brains in your Hermes setup.
It's Claude. It's Claude Opus 4.8 so far. Because I mean, I have not been able to use anything else. So, and in Hermes, I mean, yes, I know it's quite a expensive engine, but we figured out a hack of how to use your max plan and use the credits there. So yes, I'm sure you can do it too.
Yeah. That answers your follow-up question as well, I guess, Gaurav. And if you still have, you can ask the other question as well. Tanmay has again asked, how much of average token usage does this automation takes up? And can we reduce the usage by manual labor in certain areas?
The idea is for us, see, the thing is, we are not really so focused on, Beam has a lot of ways in which, so how we figured out is when you're setting up an agent, see what happens is a lot of agentic interfaces, you'll have to understand where you can club and find information. So there could be multiple agents which require to go and scan through LinkedIn. So make sure you're doing that only once and not making multiple agents do the same thing. So that way you're reducing on the agent's token usage, because if you can club these information, if it has to do website, so you make one agent read the website, then store it in cache, and so that next time it just fetches from that particular agent's work and not do the entire research process again. So there are some such hacks, but we are not so much into optimizing at this point, because we never know that maybe in 1 month down the line, this whole process there is a better way to solve it. So yeah, this is just how we've realized it works in FlytBase, and with so many improvements and with so many different things every day coming up, you just figure out to, like, imagine last year we were all showing our N10 workflows, right? Our Zapier workflows, like where are they now? So I'm not so hell-bent into like optimizing it to the T, because next month while working on this, we might realize, okay, there's a much better way to solve this. So we move to that.
Okay, so Divya has asked, just to make sure that I understand it is for the inbound role. This workflow is using AI to manage leads, data we get from people who land on our page and inquire.
Yes, this is inbound. People who visit our website, fill a form, give us their information, and then we just need to understand who are the right people to talk to, and we qualify on the basis of that, so that we are not spending a lot of our salespeople's time in these discussions. Because right now, like I said, we are at a stage where we are constantly getting a lot of leads, and it becomes very overwhelming for the salespeople to go and talk. And at the same time, what we realized that there isn't enough bandwidth for them to constantly nurture and follow up as well. So that is something that again we are setting it up as well where Vishnu is working on setting up that entire automated nurture sequences as well. I mean, again, see, the thing is, this might sound sound very basic for you, but at FlytBase, we are at that stage right now. So we've just crossed our 0 to 1 journey, and now we are looking for our 1 to 10 journey.
Okay. Hope that answers your question. Now, Kshitij Patil is asking, you guys do web scraping on Twitter and LinkedIn?
Twitter is not our right persona profile for us, so we do not focus a lot on X. Yeah, LinkedIn is where our gold is primarily, and Facebook. So if you see a lot of our, we have a lot of inquiries and a lot of customers from Latin America region as well, and they are pretty heavy on Facebook. So Facebook and LinkedIn are our two major channels of scraping.
Now, the JS has asked, for any information researched about the inbound company, how is the accuracy of the output verified? There might be a multiple company across the globes with the similar name and duplicate kind of a data.
I did not get the question well. So you mean that the same name, multiple companies? I don't think we have that kind of a issue as such, because there are just not the name of the company. There are a lot of filters, right? Like we have their phone numbers as well, because see, when a lead comes in, and if they have interest and they want to get started, they are open to sharing your phone numbers. I think that is one thing that we don't miss out on getting. So we get the geography from there, we through their phone numbers, we get all the list of, like, a lot of information points which you can then narrow down to that particular person, because that person submitted the person's name, a website link, an email ID. See, all these problems are more when you're doing outbound, when you're trying to figure out who this person is. You don't have a lot of information, but we already have a base wealth of information with us that we can work on.
The next question is, are there reg pipelines being used here?
Sorry?
Are there any reg pipelines being used?
You want to take that? Okay, Vishnu wants to take. No, I don't. So the thing is, I have completely, let me just share my process. So how I am working, I'm completely moved on to Hermes and set up my entire Slack to work as, set up Hermes in my Slack to work as co-pilot. So I have also been working with, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Gary Tan's G-Brain. He's the founder or he's one of the founding members at Y Combinator, and he has created this GitHub repo, which I feel anybody using Hermes should definitely use. And at the same time, I think I'll do a separate session on this, or I'm trying to build a completely second brain of myself. So I have a set of skills which has a complete hierarchy. It knows every team member. It knows what my team member skills it knows every campaign that I run. So every time I just go and I just have a quick chat saying that, hey, what about this campaign? What happened? I have set up cron jobs. So now I'm trying to teach everything that I work on. So as a marketing lead, I have to be working on, say, 10 different campaigns at the same time. There's inbound, there's outbound happening, there is website, there's product marketing, there is events. So everything is segregated across different pillars that I operate. And then it has small files, which or skill files or skillifying everything. It has those different MD files where it tries to understand. It has set up in a basis of hierarchy on like how a human also works. And then I just try to create. So the good thing about Hermes is I've realized that you cannot just bank on its own memory, because its own memory has a very short limited file. So you need to know that to use your memory as an anchor, which will go and pull those relevant information from different other files and work with you on it. So completely set that up so that second brain helps me. So I have a completely different set of skills under inbound agent itself, which works with me. So it has the full context of what I'm working, which is something that it was not as great in Claude Cowork or Claude Code. And Vishnu has something to add to that.
Yeah, so just to add to that, I guess a lot of people are getting it here, but it's a very basic sort of engine that we are trying to use. It's more like a research and score agent chain. There's no RAG in here. So I really would suggest that you guys ground out, because we are using agents like Hermes that takes care of the backend quite much. So that's not something that we need to completely build, because we have individual products like Workhorse that run on RAG pipeline. So if we try to create such products here, that's quite complicated for inbound or an outbound engine.
Yeah, because you need to realize that these are probably short-lived, and instead of trying to, like, what we are trying internally in FlytBase is we want to see what is helping us get to outcomes today, instead of focusing so much and optimizing on the process, because like I said, nobody talks about N10 pipelines anymore.
Okay. I hope that answered the question. So about the internship and thing, you can connect with the Ankita on the LinkedIn itself. Now, Ronak has asked, are you running ads as well to get people to visit specific pages on this website or something?
Yeah. So thankfully, we are in a very, I mean, fortunately, we are in a place which we don't need to run ads as of today. It's a not as crowded market. We're solving a problem which is like, trying to automate drones, which is not, again, a common problem that people are solving. So organically, we are able to, through just SEO and AEO efforts, we are able to rank ourselves, and we build that kind of credibility in the ecosystem. So yeah, no ads today. So we completely are off performance marketing in FlytBase at least.
So Chitrang has asked, as someone who is quite interested in tech sales aspect of this, would this role help me gain experience in that side as well as a technical implementation? Asking as I'm currently an engineering student doing CSE.
You want to get into technical sales role? I'm sure it will. Of course, you live to understand. See, in FlytBase, every team is building some kind of systems like this. So the technical role primarily sits somewhere between and an AE or a solutions engineer who's also, or like a customer success team who's also trying to upsell and give solutions to the clients. So I think they are doing a lot of incredible work in terms of tracking renewals. Of course, even Vishnu has a similar kind of a background, so yeah, he can share as well.
Well, just to clarify on your question, is it that you're interested in selling tech, or is it that you want tech to be a part of your work? Because both of them are quite different altogether. Because if you have to sell tech, yeah, you need to have a good CSE background. But in order to implement in today's world where vibe coding is such ease, we've been implementing tech every day, and I'm pretty much sure that not that we are extensively crazy CSE students.
Mute yourself. Like I see
Are
you have
we,
raised.
is it,
Yes.
can you hear me? Is it all right if we talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually joined just a little late. I came across FlytBase from my college email. My e-cell actually emailed about it, and I was very interested in your company specifically because you work in drones. I've been super passionate about drones since I was like 5, 6 years old. I've been flying them, and of course, as a CSE student. So one of the postings that I saw on the career at FlytBase is product marketing intern. I think that's
Yeah.
what really speaks to me, because bringing the tech, but to the customers, bringing the customers in, explaining exactly what they need, how we can be the solution for them and implement it for them. That's really where I want to go. And I know the internship season is currently ongoing. So I was looking for something like this. So do you think that applying for the product marketing intern would be the correct role for this?
Definitely, there's a lot to be done in product marketing. Vishnu kind of is right now working in product marketing as well. So, I mean, we are constantly hiring in the marketing team. We are expanding significantly. Everyone here is working 12, 16 hours a day. So we definitely need more people and support for us. And if and everyone's building something or the other. I think Vishnu shared how he's building as like product marketers, we need to constantly ship decks, content to different enablement teams. So how he's figured out a system and to automatically create these different pieces of content as soon as it comes in, different launch scripts, launch campaigns. So very interesting work to be done. And definitely, if you're interested, do give it a try and uh, submit your application and we'll have a look at it.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time.
Now, Gaurav has asked, which connectors do you use to connect the web-based forms with Hermes agent?
The web-based forms with the Hermes. So we kind of have a database. Beam has kind of built that complete. Beam, if you would like to comment that on that. So we have a complete database of all the leads coming in, and all I need to do is I have an interface in terms of I've actually interfaced it with my Slack, and because all the leads come in Slack as well, and my Google Workspace. But now we're building the system to connect it directly through an MCP. So he's created a complete repo, which I will let Bhim share. He's created a Jarvis, he calls. So which is very cool. Like while he shares, anytime we can just chat on Hermes and we say, hey, how many leads came in from Italy? How many leads are here from North America region? So it just gives you those numbers which you don't really have to open up a dashboard and see. So very interesting stuff. Yeah, Bhim, go ahead.
I think for your database question, for all our leads, we generally store our leads into a couple of different platforms, because if we don't want it to rely on a single platform, so usually we use Versal's own database as well as Superbase, and we have created a MCP kind of thing where all the database is on Superbase, and we created a dashboard. I call it Jarvis, where we have information or analytics from Google Analytics as well as Clarity. So all of our questions about website, their analytics, their user journeys, their user flows, as well as leads, we generally track it there. But in the recent age, we usually are not looking at the dashboards. So people are always working on Slack or their own agents. So I have created an MCP where it just have all the context of that data. So the whole source of truth is the data, which is the main point. And the Hermes agent or any cloud agent or any MCP is trained on that agent on the database, where you could just simply ask how many leads are from X region, how many leads are qualified, how many leads are MCQ, sales, which are in sales or which are converted. It's all there in data. It just have to connect all these data pointers into a single platform or a single agent. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
If you have a follow-up question, you can just unmute or otherwise drop in the chat as well. So no worries in that. Yash has asked, how do you balance rapid experimentations with maintaining reliability for enterprise customers?
These are internal facing systems. These are not the systems that are deployed for enterprise customers. Of course, for that, we have the product teams working on it. The system that I showed today are definitely systems that you should build with rapid experimentation in mind, because this is what my AEs are going to be using the system to understand more, to discover more about the calls that they are getting on. And we are trying to figure out a way to reduce their time load and work on a more efficient manner. So of course these do not have a lot of enterprise kind of requirements. We're not like tampering with the data or using their data. We have some safety protocols in place, like data security protocols, but then beyond that, these are internal systems which our teams are going to be using. So just go break everything. So it's fine. Of course, as a product that we sell has much more data security, because you're working with Fortune 500s, and of course they have a very different level of security in place. I want to take this one question by Shivam. How do you measure whether a marketing experiment is successful at FlytBase beyond just impressions and clicks? No revenue. Impressions and clicks. It depends on the type of campaign you're running. Of course, you cannot just quantify everything in terms of I mean, not all of them are revenue drivers. So, of course, in marketing, as a part of the team, we run a lot of different initiatives, right? So, we need to run some which are brand related. For example, today we have our one of the largest annual virtual conference. I think you should all go ahead and give it a go, listen. And it's a 16-hour long conference that will happen online on 29th of September. Again, thanks to our work with customers across the globe. So we have a dedicated time we start somewhere midday at 10 o'clock in the morning, not midday in India, and go all the way till 2 a.m. at night, because we need to cover Australia, Europe, Middle East, and the Americas. And they are more of, branding exercises like community building. And there we need to figure out for that particular thing, how many people attended, how many people registered, how many people got to know about it. Of course, some of them will convert, but then that's more of a branding exercise. However, this one, our inbound, next week, we are going to be doing a session on outbound and how we are automating that whole. For both of these, it's pipeline, like how much of pipeline are we able to drive? What we had realized that a lot of leads would come in, but we would not nurture them enough or follow up with them enough, and they would slip through the cracks. So we are trying to figure out how do we minimize all of that. So our goal is, okay, how many leads came in, how much of pipeline did it impact? So that's the major goal that we are chasing.
Okay. So Simran has asked, what are some of the biggest challenges you encountered while using the Hermes? For example, it can be anything, latency, cost, hallucination, or any unexpected issues which you face.
See, first of all, Hermes is a superpower, but of course, there are a lot of, like, once you start using it, you will realize a few significant gaps, which you will work around it. For example, cost, of course, it requires API, and like I said, we are all running on max plans. So that we figured out a way to use our existing, say if you have $100 Claude plan, it will use the credits of that plan instead of adding additional API costs. That has significantly helped us to continue using Claude with Hermes. Another tool that we found out, which is slightly cost effective, is ZAI's GLM5. But of course, if you are a loyal user of Claude, you will not like it. But then that's a very good alternative, ZAI's, and it's slightly more cost effective. Latency, I mean, it does affect very good build. All of these, the lead dossiers, the pipeline. So I just actually, let me try to share with you what I just did. Maybe that will give you some idea, because see, I could not share actual data with you right today. I had to anonymize a lot of things, and because I had worked on the inbound agent in because my Hermes is a little scary. I don't want to scare you all. So just yesterday, I got to know about, I'll just share my screen. Don't judge my Hermes the image, because I just wanted to play with it. So I just drafted this message. If you can see this, I have a presentation in 30 minutes, and I have to show the inbound agent that we built in the AI and accent session. I need an anonymized version of the entire thing that we built, a little bit of the dossier that we are planning. We cannot have any actual customer names, and dummy data version. So that's, I need to go live in 30 minutes. Of course, I had some work, but it just said, let me write the build script, let me build it. And it built it. Like if you can see the timeline, I started working on it at 6:56, and I had the session at 7:30. So that is that much time I could put through it, and I made a few corrections. I just needed, so it knew everything. So it has a complete folder. It created a folder for me called inbound agent demo, and I had these HTML files stored there. It has told me, and then it also gives you motivation. You said go crush it. Go crush it. It told me, and it had everything. And this is exactly what I showed, just because I had that entire context set, because I had completely built it in this system itself. It also helped. I also asked it to just create that sample website leads email, the Slack message that comes in, and how the thread should be responded, and how we are creating with the dossier that we are working on. So everything it just created, because I had that entire system built through Hermes, so it just had it. So yeah, it's a superpower. Please go ahead, build your second brain. It's going to be extremely, I don't know, it's scary at the same time, very rewarding.
So now Tanmay has noticed that in the flow chart that the system scuba gaps after enrichment, when the initial lead information is a bit messy or incomplete, how do you decide which data sources to prioritize to fill those gaps? How the system filter out the noise to ensure the sales team is only seeing high quality leads rather than just unverified data?
Right. So this is why we build a system where if we are not able to enrich a lot of information ourselves, there's not a lot of information available. What we are trying to do is we are trying to build a question loop mechanism. So we have a few information that we need in terms of it to be qualified enough to go to A's. So if we don't get that information, we draft a second round of questions. So we say, hey, thank you for reaching out. Could you share us a little more information on 1, 2, 3? Of course, we don't ask them set of 10, 20 questions. It's just 2 or 3 key questions that will help us make the decision. So we have a template or a document behind that works in terms of, these are few information that we need. So we draft that question and send it back through the system, and then when they respond, we see, okay, this is something which is relevant and this is not relevant, so let's just move it to a nurture pipeline, or primarily scrap it, but if it's relevant, then we pass it on to the A.
Okay. So Aniket kind of had a same question as well, like how to identify high quality inbound leads. So I guess hope that answers that question as
we
well.
identify through that framework. So SCUBA for us, that's the mechanism that works. If we have an idea about the scale, if we have an idea about the clarity, do they already have any kinds of drones deployed today? Do they know what is what is the use case, what they want to achieve, if there are any public available information about grants, budgets that they have, innovation budgets that we can get into. So authority, if there's a signing. So we try to do that. And if it is in terms of medium and high, in terms of confidence, we pass it over. It's okay. We're not so, again, like I said, we're not so particular about making it perfect system. It needs to be 80% better than what it was today. So that's what we are trying to achieve. And of course, we are trying to also develop into a self-learning system. So as soon as we get some, responses from A saying, hey, this was not a decent lead, we've tried to feed it back to Hermes relearns it, and then we are trying to rebuild it back into the MCP. So it is creating a self-learning loop as well. That's the beauty.
The next question is is Jarvis only using the vector database for retrieval, or do you solely rely on Vercel Postgre? I guess Beam would be able to answer it better.
I think Blob is our raw database, but for a user or for people to get more context of it, we have Superbase installed. So Superbase is our source of truth, but for backend or for if the data get lots, we always have some raw data in Vercel, in Blob. Yeah.
Can I continue with that question?
Yeah.
It's possible. My curiosity is if the blob gets bigger, you have multiple companies and different blobs, bigger blobs, it would be easier to convert in vector and store it, you can anytime retrieve it. Why don't use vector over blob or any Postgres?
I think it's about speed and reliability. I think we just shifted our website from Webflow to Vercel, and it's kind of easy for us to integrate Blob directly into it, and we don't have too much like it's just a thing where we store data. We don't usually go for creating MCP in that, so we haven't thought about using that data for like post or create it, delete it like a CRUD function. It's just there for us to reliably see the data is getting stored. We also have a Slack integration where that same lead is getting there also.
Sir, I have a question. Okay. So this is a multi-agent system, right? So each agent has its specific own task given to assigned to it. So after all these tasks are done, they are combined. The outputs are combined by the orchestrator, right? So if
Yeah.
there are conflicts in between two agents' outputs, which are creating like conflicting evidences or contradictory evidences, then how is this is resolved? How is this issue is resolved?
I think you're talking about the Scuba agent. So for that agents, we have different sub agents, and each agent has different kind of goals. So we made sure these are not getting confused between. And as Vaishali said, now if one agent is scrapping website, so all of its data is stored somewhere. So another agent don't have to go again on the website and scrap it again. So it costs us somewhat, but to make sure each agent had its specific ideas and specific rules, we have to harness it. And it's kind of how you train it. It depends upon how you train it. It sometimes do the same thing again and again, but you have to make sure you are making some agents or guardrails that you learn from that mistakes. And it just have to you just have to ask it to this is the mistake you did, and make sure you are not doing it again. Or you just have to go into the depth of it, why it got that error. Sometimes it comes up with edge cases that you usually don't think about it. So it's about conversation with it, and it's about resolving the conflicts, like giving it a specific use case and goals to play towards.
Good. I think the thing is that always make your agents do different tasks instead of asking all the agents do the same thing over and over again. That will save on token usage as well. Okay, I'll quickly take a few questions. I can see one. I think we are already a lot over time.
Yeah, yes.
So Divya's question: after filtering, how do we convert them into convince? But this is a call for the sales team. So maybe Aryan can create another. So
Yes.
see, I lead marketing. My only goal, I mean, of course, I have to also bring revenue, but then it is mostly restricted till bringing them till MQL. And after that, of course, I help the sales team with a lot of these materials that they need and the firepower ammunition that they need to go close these deals. But then that's where I am more of a creative person, not
Yeah.
the
So,
sales guy.
the next Thursday, we do have a session on that.
But that is also marketing. That's in
Yeah.
outbound. Okay, so that next session.
We'll bring those people in who actually does this stuff, and we'll do it, because currently I can't go and let them
No, but I
say
think
that
we
directly
can
jump in.
session on with
Yeah.
the sales team as well,
Yes, yes.
maybe how they are closing these deals. That'll maybe help you. Next is Aarti. Aarti's question is reinforcement learning, where Hermes learns. How do you handle situations where user provides incorrect or misleading feedback? So what I have done is whenever anybody comes, so I have set up these different kinds of learning agents in Hermes, where one thing that I have done is, for example, I go in a lot of internal calls and I just quickly just turn on my local recording, voice recorder, and record it. So it learns a lot. And then a lot of gibberish also, which I don't want it to save in memory. So I just tell my Hermes that you run a cron job. You tell me every day, say at a particular time, that, hey, these are the few things that I've learned from all the different calls. Do you want me to save it in the relevant skill files, or do you want me to correct? So same thing I apply. here. Anybody tells anything, it doesn't mean it auto learns. It comes back to me saying that, hey, these are a few feedbacks or corrections that I want that everyone's given me. What do you think I should add back, and what do you think you confirm or correct for me? And then that will learn. So you will not let anybody else work or tamper your work that you've done. You set up a validation in between that, hey, these are few things or feedbacks that I've received. Tell me if these are few things that I should keep in mind for the next one, or should I not? And Hermes does a good job at it. So everywhere you can set up these learning loops, learning digest for everything. So this has been a really good, see, all our customer calls, when I go on any customer calls, we usually add Circle Back because it's on Google Meet or any meeting platform that you use. But I have a lot of calls internally with the teams, internally with just on discussing on different campaigns. And I just use the local recorder, voice recorder in my Mac. So it automatically transcribes them. I use Gemini Pro 2.5. It doesn't use a lot of credits, but that's a very good translation tool. So because we also talk a lot in Hindi and other like local languages. So it does a good job. It transcribes, it understands who is speaking, because we don't usually introduce ourselves when we are doing these recordings. So it then asks me, have I correctly identified the speaker? I just say yes, no, like one word, no, this is not this person, this is this person. It'll save and it'll store and create that whole recording transcription for me, and then I can save them in relevant skill files of what I've learned. And so yeah, it's a very interesting thing, building a second brain. Sorry, I'm just getting very excited. Yeah.
We can take another session on that as well.
Yeah, I think that will be. I also want to know how people are building second brains today, because that's a really interesting concept that's now come up.
Yes.
And I've been doing that for a month now, and it's crazy. I would love to share more about it.
Yes. Okay, so I guess we can take one last question and we'll end this up because we are already a lot over time. Okay, so Zayed has asked, guys, what I have seen is that the entire agentic AI assistance for entire sales cycle is still very new and ever changing, as Baishali mentioned earlier. What I want to know is how you guys help the team implement this process and essentially adapt it over the time, like basically helping them build learning curve around this.
I think if you have a team of AI native people, there isn't a lot of learning curve. If everybody is using AI, this problem I think comes in organizations where some people are building these AI systems and then you are trying to onboard these AI systems onto another person. If you're not, if everybody understands these concepts about how to interact, they're building MCPs, helping you with it. So I don't think that is a big problem for us at this point of time, because we just send over like some handover content, and then they just send it over to their AIs and their co-pilots to help figure out what needs to be done. So that's pretty simple. At least that's not a problem at FlytBase. So I should not be able to help you. I saw somebody spending $130. It's completely free. All you need to do is, instead of using GBrain, I'm first of all, please ensure there's a lot of GBrains available. The one that I'm talking about is Gary Tan's GBrain, which has a particular GitHub link. You should search with his name. And once you install it with Hermes, it will ask you whether you want to continue with, I think, OpenAI and Anthropic, yes, and which has some money. But there's a third option, which is zero entropy. And if you just create a free API key for zero entropy and give it to GBrain, it's free. Please don't pay anything for GBrain.
Sorry to interrupt. I was just trying out Hermes, so I was doing it on GPT 5.5. So
Hermes, if you are using any particular LLM engine behind, of course, and if you're using API, please make sure to ensure that it doesn't auto top up, because that is one crazy feature that these LLM companies have, and then they'll just keep charging you and auto topping up as soon as you're out of credits. So we've all figured out these hacks to how to use our own account, like limited plans, credits, and like auto top up is switched off. So we don't
Yes,
burn
I
out on
figured
all of
it
that.
out now. It is connected to my
Yes.
Codex account.
But for GBrain, it's completely free. You don't need to pay anything.
You always figure it out in a hard way. So yeah. But yes.
Very hard experience.
Okay, so I guess
I think there's another
Yes.
session, people asking about Hermes efficiently, how to set it up. I think
Okay.
that'll be an interesting session. We
yes,
can have
yes.
Sejal or somebody from the
Yes,
team
yes,
to
yes.
talk about it. And hackathon, yes, please, a lot of
Yeah,
questions.
yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead,
yeah.
Aryan.
So, okay, so before everyone drops off, one quick thing. So, everything you just saw, how our inbound team runs on AI, and the sole reason we walked you through all of this is pretty simple. We are hiring and we want a people who think like this. So, here's the deal. As I already told you that we are hiring BDRs in inbound and outbound roles. So, instead of a usual resume and a far ends of interviews and that kind of a grind, we are doing something a lot more fun, which is a hackathon kind of a thing. So, and we are calling it the closers. So it's on the next Saturday, which is on 25th July. And it will be an online hackathon, so you don't need to worry about joining it offline. So you can join it from anywhere. It will be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is fully online again. I am saying it. So what will be in it? We'll hand you a real BDR problems, the same kind of a stuff our team actually deals with inside, and you will have to build your way through them. And if you do it well, you skip straight to the interview process, and that's pretty much it. So if you have already applied, then it's okay. But if you haven't applied, you can go to this link, which is life@flightbase.com/hiring.hackathon. You can just go to this website and you'll find all the other details inside this deal list about everything. And you can just fill out this form. And as soon as you fill out this form, you will redirect to a Slack community. And on that Slack community, you will get all the updates regarding everything, that problem statement, if you have any technical glitches in between the hackathon or everything, anything related to technical issues or anything. So you can just go through it and you can join our Slack community. So all of your doubts will be cleared there. And about the evaluation process, Vaishali would be able to tell you much more in detail about how they will gonna evaluate and how they're gonna find the right candidate after this hackathon gets over. So yeah.
Yeah. I think it's pretty simple that we are looking for more people who see anything, that any problem statement, if you give it to AI can do a lot of stuff. It is about the taste and how well have you thought about it, because we do not want AI slop, and I think that's what we've been
Yes.
constantly getting. So going beyond that AI slop, one level up, where you are really trying to think through it and think through the problem statement and coming up with some unique ways of solving it, which probably we've not thought about as well. And from an hiring perspective about who joins FlytBase team, it's about people who constantly inspire us and like teach us. It's not like we are planning to sit and like train and teach people. It's both ways, because AI has made everything a level playing field now. So yeah, whoever can come and help me set up a better inbound agent and a much faster way is welcome to join. We'll be also back next week again with another colleague of mine, Ashish, a team member who has built a very crazy system for outbound as well, which we'd love to share with you. Yeah.
So yes, again, thank you so much everyone for taking out time from your busy schedule and joining today's session. Hope you got some value. We'll see you again on the next Saturday for the outbound session. Thanks Vaishali, thanks Beam, thanks Vishnu for taking out your time as well and helping people learn a new thing. So yes, hope to see you there. And if you haven't joined Slack community for specific for the hackathon, you just join in right now, because that's where you will get all the updates. So yes, thank you so much. See you on the next Thursday.
See you.
Bye.
And I hope you apply for the hackathon.
Yes.
And come up with some interesting ideas.
And I hope some of you from this meet as well
Yes,
end up
join
getting
FlytBase.
hired. Yes, and sit with us and work.